the video cut off so I can reset my vibrational output, which it should never be an excuse that just because a voice is raised and it's speaking firmly and loud and maybe even screaming that with a lot of emotion, there isn't any reason that something's automatically, like there isn't a rule that says, well, now coherency on our side, our ability to hear the message is being shut off. We have to cut you off. That is something that needs to change, because that reflects how we treat emotions and therefore really our children, especially, say, the infant child, the one who only has emotions to communicate that there is an imbalance. Now, getting back to that subject matter, the Libra, you see, a Libra who speaks at their evolution in what they are is a human consciousness that celebrates the higher courts of law. You know, when I say higher courts of law, higher courts means now this is beyond anybody's mind. There isn't a single law there that was created by the man. They always say man too. You know, it's like, well, thank God women get off the hook all the time. You know, when I mean, even in the story of Christ, we seem to just convert it into a man and throw that into the fire. Good. Thank you for your sacrifice. You men are so wonderful. Maybe. Maybe it's because they're half-baked. And it's like you can only be a soldier. You can only be used to serve the greater good, which where is the greater good? Was that you hanging? They just strung you straight up and they even put a plaque on there. This is our greatest good example. Over there, not us. We're forgiven for, I don't, just we forgot to write our book. Now we have a book to write and it's blank. And it's not the good kind of blank either. It's like, are you honestly thinking that the message is, and don't do anything until I get back? It sure looks like it. You know, the woman comes home, even though she works, the place is a mess. Maybe she has a man there. Just a robot. Did you want me to clean the house while you blah blah blah? I can make a roast beef, and pretty soon it's a role reversal. I don't know, whatever. Fucking somehow money can work. Getting back to the higher courts of law, you would be laughing by now. I know I do. If you have it all arranged from, like, say, your pyramid goes like this, and you're not trying to stand it on end. I'm talking about geometry, babes. I'm not talking about, boy, you want to talk about what's getting completely knocked out of perception is the laws that are sitting only. If you take it to the higher courts of law, which is, there are like laws of physics. There's something that reality contains, which is the truth, and no mind has that capacity. And what are we going to do about that? Fucking narcissists, we're going to have to sit them down and say, so do you know the difference between? Can you at least admit that there's a space in between your nose and your hand? There's outer space. There's 3D. I'm giving it all to you right now. This is the way you should have your conversation. Reality? 3D. 3D, everybody's mixed up about that because they've never found it. It's a big imagined. And then when you hear even the best, like Pam Gregory and Ralph Smart and Teal Swan, and all of these really good new aged people who are trying to get people aligned to the truth more, they blow it because of the way they just run over the language. They just run right over it. They're saying, and you know about 3D reality, the misery of the matrix, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, that's not reality. That's not 3D. There is a matrix that is the mind, which is the cartoon land, the overlay that ruins a perfectly good, infinite possibility, and it's called outer space. Nobody considers it. It's a pristine place. I can go like this. I can raise my voice by choice, and then have somebody else unconsciously, they don't know that they even might have a choice to have done that. Like, do you think Jesus was in the story? Does the character that you depict in that story? It's just a story, by the way. No, I'm not denying that there are um, guardian angels trying to help us. That's all that I have, babes. That's all that I have. And I did meet up with that angel, Jesus, because I love God first. I know God. I'm sitting in the higher courts of law, practicing His way of being. I guess that's his game. The higher courts of law, universal law. So I don't know everything, babes. Get out of here. But I don't, and I also don't know how I know what I know, and that's just the way it is. That's the real experience. I mean, come on, surrender. We can know that that's the way it is, and if we know that much, we can get a better hang of getting getting it right. And there is a righteous. There is right, babes. 2 plus 2. You're not going to fool a child, especially when it's heard. Unfortunately, we already have a language here. 4. Too many people are holding on to that interfacing system that says, in fact, that in English looks like FOUR. Take the F down, you have the word hour in there. Hour. Really, it's OU. You want to look at just energy? We're looking at energy when you look at the upper spectrums and how it flows. In fact, the fact of non-physical sciences, the upper spectrum math, particularly the vowels found in uppercase when you see them, which is a must in all documents, or you are telling a lie. They point at energy flows. OU is a sound you make. I owe you something. There is a oscillator right here, the constant recycler. If you have tapped that, you have to pour it into a bucket. If you're like a tree, you better it's best for that tree to have a bucket. I mean, there is the universal law that says, no, I will catch the apple and I will grow more. And this will go so out of control until you fucking notice it and get some buckets, will you? Oh, you're going to cut them down? Is that somebody starving over there just a few hundred miles away? God, you guys are brilliant! Brilliant!